Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in to another Cup of Tech. It's been over a week actually because I was in Melbourne for the Grand Prix, so I was away, and while I was away, Samsung announced the Galaxy S4. Now, if you've used the Galaxy S3 or the Galaxy S2, you kind of know a little bit about these phones. They're usually one of the top players in the smartphone market, right? You know, you've got your iPhones. In terms of Android, you know, Samsung really does kind of lead the pack there, let's be honest. Now, what is in the Galaxy S4? It's a huge list. It's so big. I was trying to follow it while I was on holidays, but it was just too hard. It was, you know, reading tweets and stuff like that. There was too much going on, and I decided not to do a video because it just would have been too sketchy. So I've done a bit of reading. I watched the full announcement. God, if you've got time to kill, you're more than welcome to go and watch it. It's 50 minutes long. It's on YouTube. You should check it out. It's interesting. Now, the feature list is so big. Now let's just talk really quickly about specs. I don't like focusing on specs a lot because I still think that, you know, the majority of the world actually don't care if it's got a 1080p display compared to a 720p display. I think that the majority of people don't. So anyway, it has got a 1080p display. It's got a 4.99 inch screen, not 5 inch. It's got a 13 megapixel camera on the rear, 2 megapixel camera on the front. It's a lot lighter. I think it's like 130 odd grams. It's 7.9 mil thin or thick, however you look at it. So it's changed a little bit in terms of dimensions. It's added some greater hardware to it. The processor in some countries will be an octa-core, which is 8 cores, and in other countries it's going to be a quad-core processor. Still very good processors either side. But that's really the hardcore specs of it all. Some people get really juicy over it, some don't. And probably the majority of people on this show, I'm not sure, you guys tell me what you really like. Now, where Samsung has always differentiated themselves from the likes of HTC, Sony, and including Apple obviously, is what they add to the phone. Now, more so with the Android guys, because they don't just put stock Android on there, they add features to it. And a lot of the times it's, you know, S features. So let's talk about them real quick. Going from the top, well not the top, but the top of my list was Smart Switch. Now Smart Switch is the tool that Samsung has always needed. For a lot of people, or a lot of Samsung customers, they were iPhone converts, right? So they had an iPhone, they got a little bored of it, they saw the S3, thought, wow, this is kind of neat. They went to a store and then they freak out because they think, how do I move my contacts over? How do I move my SMSs? How do I move my pictures, my music? Like, you know, I use iTunes, I do this, how do I do this? And there's been some patchy solutions for how to do it, and you kind of need to be a bit of a techie to figure it out. But Samsung has obviously realized this for the S4, and they've announced Smart Switch, which allows you to plug your iPhone in, or whatever phone you've got. It takes a full dump in, you disconnect that, plug your Samsung in, it does a full dump out. So you literally have what you had on your other phone now on your new S4, which is a brilliant thing. I know that this will help adoption because I can tell you from experience of friends of mine who wussed out in the last minute thinking, no, it's just too hard, I'll just upgrade to the iPhone 5. And they did. So honestly, this is important. What else? I mentioned last week the Smart Scroll. Yeah, that's in there. It came true. A lot of the rumors actually which were spoken about became fact, right? Now, Smart Scroll, yes. Smart Pause. So imagine you're sitting on a train watching a video, you look up because, you know, some chicks walked by, it pauses the video for you. Super handy because you don't miss your favorite bit and you got to see the favorite person on the train. Perfect. And obviously for other features as well, I'm sure there's other reasons to pause and keep playing. But that was really cool. It just notices when you look away, obviously by eye tracking, and done. It pauses, resumes when you look back. Brilliant. Other things. The camera. The camera is very good. It's a 30 megapixel camera. It's supposed to be amazing, right? I haven't used it myself, but it sounds decent. Now they've added some new features to it. One of them is called SoundShot. So if you've ever wanted to take a photo and also capture a little bit of audio in the background, just to sort of give that feel of what it was really like in that situation, but looking at a still image, you can do that now. Personally, I would just record a video if you wanted to capture the whole atmosphere, right? Because then you've got sound as well as movement. Whereas with a picture, it's just the picture with sound. I kind of don't get it. Anyway, SoundShot. It's got dual camera shot as well. What that means is that you can take a photo with the rear camera and the front facing camera at the same time. Now, the example they used was that the father of a family takes a picture of their wife and kids, but he's not in it. So he uses the front facing camera to sort of paste a picture of himself next to them. Now that's kind of dodgy. That's really dodgy. To me, it looks silly, but the reason I did start to like the dual camera shot was for video calling. So they demonstrated using video calling, so I can imagine holding the S4, I'm in a video call with somebody, they can see me, but also they can see what I'm looking at, all in the same window. Now that's better. That's where I really like the dual camera shot idea. For actual video and images of pasting your face on people, that's kind of odd, let's be honest. So that's the dual camera shot. AirView. So what it basically AirView is that you can hover your finger over the screen and it's going to detect your finger. So you can actually navigate your way through the phone without touching it. And that's freaky. So you can hold your finger close to, say, a folder of pictures and it'll just automatically expand that folder and give you a preview of what's going on there. That's kind of cool. Group play. So say, for example, you love playing music on your phone and you're at a friend's house, you're like, listen to this track, it's awesome. The speaker on the phones usually aren't too bad, but they're usually not that great either. But if your other friend has an S4 as well, you can share the songs, press play here and on their phone and using both speakers with the same song. That's really cool. The other thing for group play as well is for gaming. So if you're playing Asphalt and they're playing Asphalt, you could be racing each other. Expect some more games to come in and support this feature. It's going to be a big one. Finally, you'll have two-player games when you can sit next to each other like you used to play on consoles with two controllers, but you're going to use your S4 to do it. I like that. It works with gloves. So in the wintertime, if you're walking around with gloves, you don't have to worry about that. You can now actually use the phone without taking your gloves off. That's something which actually is important, I think. S-Translator, so if you're traveling around a country and you don't know the lingo and things like that, but you need to communicate somehow, right? So you can speak into the phone and it will actually speak out in that language. So it will convert your voice into it reads it and then translates it out. Kind of neat. You can have it also go the other way around, so they speak in and you can just get it as text or vice versa as English. That's really cool. So many features. Got infrared port on it as well. So you can now use the S4 to control your TV, to control your sound system and things like that. The apps on it actually look really decent as well. Obviously, Samsung tying things in from their whole environment. I said they were going to be doing this, that they would start to focus on the big picture. Everything in the home, controlling everything, and adding an IR remote into this is the first step to doing it. It's brilliant. Samsung will control everything, the TV, the washing machine, the air conditioning. That's what needs to happen. Very cool. Wow, what else? Hang on. Some other things, probably not entirely the most bigger deal breaker things in them all. Bring your own device in the workplace is becoming more and more stronger. Workplaces are starting to get a bit frustrated, or some people are getting frustrated with having to use a BlackBerry as their work phone and their Samsung as their personal phone. So they've introduced Hub, which is interesting because BlackBerry BlackBerry 10 have a feature called Hub as well. Anyway, so Samsung's Hub is a way of separating work and play and literally separating everything. When you go into pictures when you're in work mode, you don't see your personal pictures. When you go into your files in personal mode, you won't see work files. Same thing with email. They've completely drawn a line down the middle and it's like creating two different environments on it. Now, if you're a personal user and you don't have a worry about work and play and things like that, think of it this way. Think of it as splitting your personalities. So say, for example, you're a mum and you have your son who plays with your phone all the time. Well, you know what? You can hide things. So you can create a little environment for your son or daughter and a separate environment for you, which means that they won't be emailing, your best friends. They won't be doing anything. They won't be messing anything up. They just have two separate environments. That's kind of cool. I like that. But obviously that's more suited for corporations. They've done it. They've also released a stronger security platform to secure devices in corporate environments. They call it Samsung Knox, obviously relating to Fort Knox. And yeah, it looks cool. They didn't demonstrate much of it, but it sounds pretty serious. There's so much in it. Now, the other thing they've done as well, which is kind of interesting, they've created a feature on there called Story Album. What Story Album is say, for example, I've traveled, the phone knows that I'm away from my hometown, which is kind of neat, and then I take a bunch of pictures because I'm traveling somewhere. When at the end of the day, it will create, or you can create, a story album. Now what that is just a collection of your pictures, videos, and stuff like that throughout that day. Based on your location, it captures the weather, it captures every single thing that you did, and creates this beautiful album. You can then send it off to be printed as a real photo album delivered to your door. And that's the way of capturing your memories. So here's what they've done. Good camera, smarts, and an end result, which is an actual photo album that you can put on the shelf and go, that's my trip to Rome. Bang, done. I like that. or you could just send it to somebody else. Really cool. Samsung's changed a lot. Now, everyone looks at the device, oh my god, the device is quite similar to the S3, it looks very similar, it's still plastic and things like that, but it's the features they've added that always set them apart. A lot of these features I have seen similar on the HTC One, even on BlackBerry 10, but not all of them. That's the kicker. They've put so many new features into it, it's kind of neat. It's not waterproof like the Xperia Z. It's not everything, but it's pretty close to being as feature-packed as any phone I've ever seen. It's very, very nice to look at. More sensors than I've ever seen in anything. Here's the kicker. I keep saying kicker a lot, but here's the kicker. Apple. HTC One, Xperia Z, BlackBerry 10, well, the Z10, Galaxy S4, all have features, a lot of features, way beyond the iPhone 5. Balls in your court, Apple. I mean, you're up. I would mention Nokia and others, but what? I actually don't even know. I think they're still pitching for Instagram. Anyway, guys, that's the S4. Let me know what you think. Comes out around late April. Are you gonna buy one? Are you lining up for one? Are you gonna camp out for one? What's your plans? Have you already bought something else? Are you getting BlackBerry? Are you getting HTC? Oh, build quality straight up. I can tell you straight away without even touching either of them. HTC One is a much sexier phone with the aluminium back. The build construction is a lot nicer and things like that. But again, my selling point comes down to the features. And I think Samsung's topped them on that one. Anyway, I'm going to try and get a review unit eventually. It's not even out yet, but I'm going to try and get a review unit. I'm going to try and get a review of the HTC One or the Xperia Z or whatever. But we'll see how we go. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.